Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Valorant news video brought to you by SkillCapped. My name's Modix, and today we have a huge video talking all about the next agent coming to Valorant, Killjoy. Now, Killjoy will be available to play as soon as Act 2 releases on August 4th, but on July 27th, there was huge news regarding the agent. The Riot developers always try to give players more information about the game through their news articles, and they accidentally made the Killjoy article public for a short amount of time before quickly setting it back to private. Today, we will be showing you the new information that was found in this article, but before we get into that, if you want to stay up to date with all the Valorant news, then be sure to subscribe with notifications on. Now, we've already received many leaks regarding Killjoy's abilities, but in the news article, the developers linked videos showing what each of these abilities does. So to start, let's talk about Alarmbot. Here's a quick look at what this ability will look like. And now here's the description that was provided by the devs. Equip and deploy a bot that hunts down enemies who dare to get in range. When my killer robot friend reaches its target, boom goes the idiot. Alarmbot not only deals damage, it temporarily leaves affected targets vulnerable to double damage from all sources. Hold equip if you want to recall your deployed bot. This is all that the devs gave us, so still no info on the range of the bot and how much damage this ability will do. But I'm sure we will receive all this once the developers are actually ready to release info on the agent. Now, the next ability Killjoy has is named Turret, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but take a look at how it will work. So it seems as though the turret will shoot in a 3-round burst with a decent amount of time in between each burst. This ability will most likely be super useful while holding flanks and odd angles, but here's what the devs had to say about the ability. Sometimes it's good to plant some roots. Deploy a turret that fires at enemies within its 180-degree cone. Hold equip to recall the deployed turret. With my turret, I can hold an area pretty well myself while the others cover the angles I can't. Honestly, this sounds to me like Killjoy will be a defensive agent similar to Cypher, but we will just have to wait and see. One feature that will be really interesting is the recall system. A question that I have about it is if we're going to be able to pick it up without directly looking at it. I mean, just imagine being able to recall your turret while playing on the other side of the map. I'm sure the devs probably won't make this a thing, but you never know. Moving right along, we now have the ability Nanoswarm. This has been one of the most leaked Killjoy abilities, but here's what the ability will look like in-game. This is such an interesting ability because the devs have previously stated that abilities should not just get you kills, but this grenade basically does exactly that. I can't wait to see a player get all 5 kills just with one ability. Here's what Killjoy herself had to say about the ability. Okay, check this out. Throw the grenade, when it lands, it goes quiet. Then, activate the Nanoswarm to deploy a damaging swarm of nanobots and catch the enemy crying. I love this trick. I can already hear the nerf coming, but we'll have to wait until Act 2 to see if this ability is overpowered or not. That wraps it up for Killjoy's main abilities, so now let's take a look at her ultimate. Killjoy's ultimate is titled Lockdown, and during it, players caught in a certain area will be disarmed and might move forward. In the clip you just saw, Phoenix moves forward while in the ultimate, so we don't know if this was the player controlling him or if it was just part of the ult. Here's what the article had to say. You'll have to adjust your timing for the windup, but once you get this device going, it detains all enemies caught in its radius for about 8 seconds. Yeah, enemies can destroy it, except I built plenty more. One thing I want to point out is that the range on this ult is insane. As you can see, the triangles in the background represent the edges of the ultimate's area, and it covers a good amount of mid, and it even reaches Canoe on B site. This makes it one of, if not the biggest ultimates in the game. As for detaining enemies, I don't know how I feel about this because in past live streams, Morello has told the viewers that they won't add an ability that completely slows players, but this seems to go ahead and do that. I guess it's okay though because you are able to shoot and destroy the ultimate. So that's all we have for the abilities of Killjoy. Be sure to let us know in the comments of this video what your favorite ability was. Now, to wrap up the article on Killjoy, she went ahead and provided this message. I love robots, but that doesn't mean I am one. That tech is only as good as my skill. So analyze, then improve. Mine good. I'm starting to sound like you, Brimstone. Hey, if all that doesn't work out, just remember to delete my hard drive. So there's two main things to take away here. One, Killjoy is not a robot like many players assumed. Instead, she's some sort of mechanic that, as we just saw, can create some pretty crazy robots. Although none of the clips showed Killjoy's character model, recently this sign was put up on the map split. We can assume that the silhouette is of Killjoy, but we probably won't be receiving much more information until the day before Act 2 with the patch notes. The second thing to take away is that Killjoy says that tech is only as good as my skill. And then earlier in the article, she also said this. I know you like that thing you do when you yell at the sky, but with me, tactics beat firepower. For that last quote, if you were a bit confused, Killjoy was speaking to Brimstone directly, so she's talking about the orbital strike. It seems as though the devs are really trying to emphasize that in order to play Killjoy, you must use tactics to outsmart your opponents. This seems really similar to Cypher because you have to place your traps in very unique places. And to be honest, this will probably be similar with Killjoy. Instead of having a cyber cage, now you have a grenade that swarms a ton of nanobots that deal damage to you. Instead of tripwires, now you can have a turret to watch your flanks. But I'm not sure yet if you will receive a message that your turret has been broken similar to Cypher's tripwires. Alarmbot is not as similar to Cypher's abilities, but it will help you gain intel on the other team similar to how the camera does with Cypher. And then when it comes to ultimates, the two agents aren't similar at all. Cypher lets you see where everyone is on the map, and Killjoy will possibly just pick up a ton of free kills. Could this secretly be a power duo though? Maybe have Cypher hold one site and then send Killjoy to the other. I personally can't wait to see how Killjoy affects team comps in the future. Killjoy's bound to change the way that Valorant is played, and we can't wait to see how the community reacts. Be sure to let us know your opinions on the agent in the comments down below. And while you're down there, be sure to subscribe with notifications on because we're uploading guides to help you improve your Valorant gameplay, and we're also releasing weekly news videos to keep you in the loop. Thanks so much for watching all the way through this SkillCapped Valorant news video. This is Modix signing off, and I will see you all in the next one.